Hi everyone, welcome back to METV. We are discussing resumes and what sections to include when writing one. Now, in part one of this series, we discussed the overall appearance of the resume, and I've put a link to that video in the description bar down below. Please go ahead and take a look at that video. But if you're writing your resume for the first time or you're updating it, you're going to want to know what sections to include in your resume. I wrote my first resume in 1994. Yikes. That was a very long time ago. But as it turns out, resumes haven't changed very much. They're pretty classic. Now, one of the things that personally I look for when looking at a resume is the first section that we're going to talk about, which is your contact information. Personally, I like for the contact information to be highly visible. So whether it's centered or right or left justified, whether it's bolded or shaded, I like to make sure that I know who I'm reading about and that I know that I can contact them and that I have their contact information right up front in case I want to reach them easily. But let's see what else we need to know about contact information and the other sections that we should be including.
So let's discuss all the different components that make up your resume. The first section is the contact information, and it should include your name, address, telephone, and email address. I know this sounds like pretty basic information, but I can't tell you how often I've seen resumes that are missing one or more portions of their contact information. And if you are debating whether or not to include your email address, I strongly recommend that you do. Personally, if I don't see one listed, it sends red flags that this person may not be computer trained, which is one skill that most employers are seeking for almost everything these days. For some reason, I also start to think that this person may not check their email regularly, and that's how I communicate with my staff about just about everything, about upcoming meetings, training, insurance, special projects, so I need and want them to respond in a timely way. If they don't include their email address when they're applying for a job that they want, then will they be email responsive when I give them a business email to check? I'm actually part of an organization where I've met people that have told me, I just don't check my email. I prefer you call me. It's 2013, people. When it comes to my company, if I need to get a piece of information out to 1, 5, or 20 people, I don't have time to call them. I'm going to send them an email. So it might just be me, but I want to see an email address on a resume. But I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only one out there that feels this way. The next section we're going to discuss is the objective section. Now, it could be considered outdated to include an objective in your resume, so please keep that in mind. But if you do decide to use one, remember, it's not all about you. It should be about what you can offer to the job, and it should be no longer than 2 to 3 sentences long. Here's an example that you can use in your resume or modify to fit whatever your position is that you're looking for. Seeking a position in an office environment where I can utilize my skills and experience in computer knowledge, organization, database creation, and management. Another good example is seeking a sales manager position where my experience with high volume sales and marketing degree can be utilized for increased product sales volume. This last example is a tried and true statement. To secure a position as an account representative where my public relations and skills in strengthening client rapport will help develop and secure a strong customer bond and a long-lasting relationship with the corporation. That last one is a tried and true one because it includes a statement that most employers want to hear: lasting working relationship. Hiring an employee can be costly. There's a cost to advertising the position, the manpower to review all the resumes, there's the time and energy to contact everyone. Once you hire them, there's cost for uniforms, name tags, ID, drug testing, training, health insurance, payroll fees, etc. Employers pay out a sizable amount to invest in you. They want to know you are ready to invest in them. Now on to the education section. You should list your education in reverse order. Include specific training or certificates that you have received. Keep the information in this section relevant to the position you are pursuing. And lastly, there's no real need to include your GPA, especially if it's a low one. The fourth section is your work experience. Now this area can be very stressful, especially if you're just starting out or switching careers. We'll have a video coming soon to this series called A Skills Resume, which is going to be very helpful for those of you just starting out or switching careers. But this is an area where you can get creative. Simply list any internships, volunteer experience, or clubs that you have participated in. List any skills that you have that will help the person reading the resume see that you can do the job. It's a good idea to immerse yourself in a career that you are pursuing. So hopefully by now you have been involved in business clubs, networking groups, or maybe you've offered yourself to volunteer with a company to gain experience. I don't know too many companies that would say no to a volunteer. When listing your work experience, list it in reverse chronological order. You can include the dates, month, and year only. Include a breakdown of your job responsibilities. And include only the last 10 to 15 years work experience. The fifth section is an optional one. If you haven't completely incorporated your skills under your work experience, you can include them under the awards and special skills section. You can include awards and certificates that you've received, or special skills like organizational skills. You can include a language that you speak, or you can include specific skills to the job that you are looking for, like computer skills, team management, sales and marketing, or budget analysis. Your last section is your references. According to most sources like eHow, GovJob, and LinkedIn, your references should always be listed on a separate page. References should be contacted for permission to be included in your resume. Make sure to include their name, business, phone number, and email. And it's always wise to include at least 3 references, but 4 to 5 is better. Some people include a statement that says references available upon request on their resume. But me, personally, when I'm reading resumes, I prefer to have the references already attached. I don't have time to call back and ask for references while I'm going through a pile of resumes.
Okay, I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like it by giving it a thumbs up. Also, please share it with your friends, and of course, please subscribe, because in our next resume video, we're going to be discussing cover letters. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.